that rhythm.
Welcome to it started. Welcome to another episode of Who's Your Nerd Podcast. You got Kris and Mikey.
We started?
Yeah, I started it.
You started?
It started.
Started. Okay.
Yep. Did you know
I've got to consent. I consent to be recorded because it's telling me.
Okay, yeah, because you got to consent now to be recorded.
I've consented.
Even though I'm still going to record you guys whether you consent or not.
Oh, hey now. What else are you going to do that's not consented, but you're going to do it anyway, Kris?
I'm going to touch your feet.
Don't. Stop. Don't, Kris. Stop. Don't.
Did not like that. But, so, should we start with the elephant in the room?
Which, there's an elephant in the room?
Yeah, Napoleon.
Oh, gosh. Movie's long. Gosh.
How long is it?
It's 2.5 hours.
I would say someone's closer to 3 hours.
It's 2 hours and 26 minutes.
It's not bad. It's just long, and I don't know.
It's slow as hell.
Yeah, I think almost as bad as Batman vs Superman slow, but it's still got more in the middle.
It's rated on IMDb. It's a 6.7.
Did it feel like 2.5 hours though?
Yeah, it felt long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like there's not enough fight scenes.
Yeah.
They needed. So my big complaint was, and I know Ridley Scott wasn't really going for
Napoleon.
I couldn't get out of my head like how I just kept thinking Napoleon or what's it called? Joker. But no,
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. But no, they should have talked more about his conquest of Austria, Italy, and all that stuff, like before he became emperor. Because that's like a big part of like his story is like everything that happened before he was emperor, and they glossed over a lot.
They did gloss over a lot, but I don't know much about Napoleon other than didn't he lost at Waterloo, right?
He lost at Waterloo. That's
was about
like
all I know. And then
yeah, that was like the big loss, other than like losing it to Prussia.
And he's a man.
And what?
The womanizer.
Well, no, he loved Josephine. He just needed an heir.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Try that in today's world. You know, I'm sorry, babe. I need an heir. So.
I'm sorry, you're just not. Go ahead, Mikey.
You guys were speaking about, like, I guess briefly said something like, he lost at Waterloo, which was the big one. But is he known as a strategist, like a good
Yes.
general, I guess?
He almost probably in the long run he probably should have won Waterloo. It was just one of those things that enough things happened the right way.
Well, he was outnumbered too.
Yeah. The big thing that before then, artillery was more of a sideshow than anything else. And they kind of glossed over this again. Like they said, oh, he's an artillery officer. That's how he got his start, was he was big about artillery. They just glossed over that kind of too. But like he developed like the mass artillery. So like World War I tactics of artillery, he kind of started that.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that much of a difference in time.
No, if you think about it, it was what, like
1890s?
It was like 100. No, it was like
1812. That's right.
It was like 100-year difference.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme, that's not a lot of time.
Well, no, and I mean, even the Civil War was. I mean, they developed artillery during the war, so there's just that early stage of artillery.
Yeah, and he was the first one to really use mass artillery, like.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes. His mistake was Waterloo, but he was outnumbered. I mean,
Well, his mistake was also Russia. You don't invade Russia in the winter.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's true too.
I think we all know that. Like if any of us ever become a dictator, we all know not to invade Russia in the winter.
I mean, didn't Germany have that issue during the war? Was the winters in Russia when they tried to?
Yeah.
Did it talk about him selling Louisiana to purchase?
No. And I really wish it did because that was like a big thing that happened.
They
Bigger than
glossed over a lot. They really did. They kind of rushed it, and even though it's 2 hours and 38 minutes, I looked it up. But they kind of glossed over a lot of stuff, and they did a lot with Josephine. They did a lot, when he was emperor, as opposed. It's like the warring Napoleon was like like the side item of the movie.
Yeah.
I expected more action. You know what I mean?
And maybe that's partially like our fault. We went in there expecting something and didn't get what we wanted.
Right. Well, and that's what I said. It's not a horrible movie, but I'm not going to sit down and watch it again.
Oh, I'm not gonna say I won't watch it again, but I'm not gonna watch it again for a while at least.
It's not like watching A Patriot, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm not gonna go back and watch it like I would Gladiator.
Right. There's just not enough action in it too.
And even like the action sequences were very short.
Yeah, they weren't like gripping. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Saving Private Ryan gripping. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
or Hacksaw Ridge gripping.
It's like, why are you guys thinking it like it's gonna be a scene about battles in the first place? It's titled Napoleon.
Because that's what Napoleon was known for.
He was known as a great strategist, and like the trailers showed a lot of action more than like anything else, in my opinion.
That's like going to see a movie about Robert E. Lee, and all he does is hang out at the Custis Lee Mansion in Virginia, and we don't get to see any Civil War action. That's the same thing. That's the way I would look at it.
But I mean, if you go in a different mindset, like, oh, okay, this is like about like a little kind of biopic of Napoleon or whatnot.
Yeah, if I went into
it, they've done it in Lincoln before. Like, you don't go to Lincoln like, oh man, I can't wait to see his head explode.
I don't know. You that's the best part of Lincoln.
It didn't grab. It just didn't grab you as a biopic. You know what I mean? It just It was very dry. It's not a horrible movie. It's not terrible. I didn't hate it. I didn't feel like it's not like Avatar where I wasted my time and money.
Did they have French accents?
Yeah, what?
French accents?
No, it was like listening to Americans talk.
Yeah, they didn't even try.
Yeah,
like, they didn't even do the whole what was the Tom Cruise movie? When he was German.
Maverick. Mission Impossible.
Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie, where they started off in German and then they translated over into American accents. That was the best way to do it. Yeah, they didn't even bother. Like, I'm Joaquin Phoenix and I'm Napoleon on the stage.
Yeah. I see.
And like when you couldn't tell, like they would be sitting there talking to like the Austrian speaking English, and then they'd sit there talking to the French people in English, and it's like you couldn't tell like what link. Like it kind of broke your immersion if you're trying to like role play of like who they're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're talking to the Russians, you'd think they'd be speaking Russian.
Right. It was like watching Amadeus. Did you ever see Amadeus? Same thing.
No.
Amadeus was the same way. Everybody just speaks English. But yeah, I mean, it was hard to. Yeah, who are these? That you question. Okay, now who's this guy?
Yeah, and then like they kept going to that bar or like the casino, and I was like, and I couldn't really for a moment I couldn't figure out who he was. Like who was this guy that in the casino that we're supposed to care about that he's talking to?
Right.
And it was an Austrian. He was trying to form an alliance with.
Is that the guy that kept on like, come here, go away?
Yeah.
He would always like stab him in the back, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the Austrian guy. Yeah. It wasn't. I was expecting an award-winning like biopic that's going to be awesome, and it just wasn't it. That's all. It was just another
Will win
movie.
awards.
I
Yes.
mean, I applaud them for giving me that kind of movie because I've been dying for that kind of movie. But I've seen better. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not about Napoleon, just in general. I don't know how many. The best Napoleon is the Napoleon in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Is the best Napoleon.
I know Napoleon didn't even like ride the water slide or anything.
He didn't.
So
Yeah, they didn't go to water. He didn't go bowling. He didn't eat all the ice cream. There's no Bill and Ted. Nothing. They could have at least touched.
Dude, that would have been great. Oh,
they just threw it in there for fun. That would have been perfect.
oh, like just like a in credits thing or something like.
Something. Yeah.
uh, I would have creamed.
But yeah, that's the way. So go see it. With caution. Go see it with caution. It's not.
Don't go into it thinking you're going to get the next Gladiator.
I guess I was expecting like not as good, but kind of on the level of, like you said, Gladiator. I would put Oppenheimer up there.
Well,
The
it's
Patriot.
from one of the. When you think of like top 3 directors of our day, he's one of those top 3.
Right.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just expected a different movie.
Yeah, exactly. I expected something like Troy, like The Patriot with Mel Gibson, like Gladiator. Those were the kind of, that's Oppenheimer. That's the kind of movie I expected, and I didn't get it. That's basically what it boils down to. But I'll say it's long and slow. It's long and slow. So, but it is what it is. So,
and if you're looking for something to watch over the holidays, definitely go see it.
Or don't, or go see Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Die Hard's being shown December 8th.
Should we reopen that can of worms? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Not yet. It's not Christmas time yet.
True.
So I've been watching a crap load of Christmas movies just to get them out of the way.
I know. What you watched that new Disney Plus movie?
I do. I want to talk about this. I did watch 8-Bit Christmas again with Neil Patrick Harris. Dude, that movie is freaking good. It's on HBO. You've got to watch it.
I think I did watch it last year. I can't remember.
It's got
I don't
Steven
think I
Zahn
did.
in it, and it's about, he's a 10-year-old kid, and they're trying to get a Nintendo in 1988 in Chicago. It's a great movie. I watched it again the other day. So I was like, because I was like trying to, because my Disney ran out, right?
Yeah,
so
I think we canceled both of ours at the same time.
Huh?
We canceled both of ours at the same time.
I know, right? Well, I watched like the Santa Claus, and I watched Home Alone, and so I stumbled
the classics.
Yes. So I stumbled on this movie called The Naughty Nine, right?
I saw that. Yep.
So The Naughty Nine actually has the kid from 8-Bit Christmas in it. So it's when Andy finds out he's on Santa's naughty list, he pulls together of naughty list kids to get the presents they think they deserve. So what I ran into, which I thought was a great idea, but what I wasn't expecting was, it's just it had every form of, it was Disney. I mean, you have Asian kids, you have black kids, you have Hispanic kids, you have a gay kid already in 5th grade. He's gay and into fashion. Santa Claus is black. Danny Glover plays Santa Claus.
Hey, I like Danny Glover.
I do too, but like, it's just, it covered every, what's wrong with, let's throw everything at this movie in one little, it's hour and 83-minute movie of woke, of our woke business. That's exactly what they did. Because I mean, I don't know. Do kids have different? It's not that. Do they all hang out together? Is that? I don't know. I'm not in school anymore, so I can't say.
What do you mean? Do they all hang out? Like, do kids actually
outside of school? kids of different races, kids of different.
Yeah, kids aren't as racist as you used to be, Chris.
I wasn't a racist. We just didn't have a lot of diversity. I mean, we had black kids in our school, but everybody kind of stuck to themselves. I mean, you would talk to them in class, or you might go to lunch, or but it wasn't like everybody was out. Everybody else's house hanging out playing video games and planning these mega schemes like the Goonies, which is essentially what this was like. 9 naughty kids go to the North Pole to try and get on the nice list is what they end up doing. So the gay kid makes them elf costumes so they fit in, and it's just very, I don't know. I didn't like it. I felt like I was being preached to instead of just enjoying the show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could use 8-Bit Christmas. So 8-Bit Christmas. So Neil Patrick Harris is okay. I mean, we know he's homosexual, right? No big deal. What he
Gay
wants.
as the day is long.
Right. Okay. So he plays a dad in the movie, and he plays his kid version. He's showing his daughter the Nintendo is what he's doing. He goes to his parents' house. They go to his parents' house, and he's telling the story of when he was a kid of trying to get the Nintendo. So, but I mean, who cares? I mean, it's just a movie. You know what I mean? They didn't preach at it. I'm a gay guy, but I'm playing a straight character. It was just I'm this guy, and he sells it well, and it's a great movie. I'm tired of being preached at when I watch a movie, much less a Christmas movie that's supposed to be aimed towards kids. Don't like it. Don't want it. Don't want it. So don't watch it. I don't recommend it. It's not even that good. It's old and tropey.
Like even if it wasn't about what it was about, it was still a bad movie.
It just wasn't. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it like I thought I would. That's a great idea. You get 9 naughty kids and you try to, and they left it open for a sequel.
Well, everything gets left open for a sequel now.
But
they gotta keep themselves something to do in the future when they don't have any more ideas again.
I've watched 8-Bit Christmas every year since it's come out now. That's one of my new favorite Christmas movies.
It's your new tradition.
It is. And kind of like Violent Night coming up. I'm going to be watching it.
Oh, I need to watch that. It's on Amazon Prime. I need to watch that.
So freaking good. So, it's just not. I don't know. It's one of those missed Christmas movies. I think. I think Noelle was better, honestly. With, what's her name? Anna Kendrick. But nobody talks about 8-Bit Christmas. It's buried on Max, and I don't think it just gets a lot of love. So I'm just showing love for 8-Bit Christmas.
For some reason, I feel like Max is kind of one of those forgotten apps.
Other than Game of Thrones, if nobody's watching Game of Thrones, that's not on, or Hard Knocks, the original Hard Knocks, nobody's watching it. I don't.
Or Peacekeeper or Peacemaker, whatever.
Oh, dude, that show's so good.
No.
Speaking of which, that's a DC movie, right? Which I did see another. Did you see the trailer for Aquaman?
I did. I'm just not interested in Aquaman 2. Like,
dude, it looks good though.
Like, even though I am boycotting it because Amber Heard's still in it, I am just not interested in it.
Really boycotting it because Amber? Why? Because she took a crap on the bed. I mean,
no, because if
are you
if it would have been roles reversed, if it was roles reversed, it would have been you'd never seen Johnny Depp again.
Yeah, but I'm trying to save the DC universe at this point.
DC universe, like I heard Blue Beetle was good.
Okay, I will give you my review.
Shazam 2 was good.
Shazam 2 was good.
Like the DC universe is on a good track right now.
Nobody went to see The Flash though, and that was good.
I don't know why no one went to see The Flash. I didn't think it was.
I can't explain why. I can't explain. I mean, because did that guy get canceled too?
Yes, he did because he was what's the word where they try to get little kids to
groomer?
Yeah, he's grooming little kids.
So you'll go see a groomer movie, but you won't go see a woman who shits a bed.
She was also very abusive.
Do you have a crush on Johnny Depp? Is this what it is, Chris? Is it just
Everybody has a crush on Johnny Depp.
Yeah, but he didn't do Dillinger any justice. Holy crap, that was terrible. But I did watch Blue Beetle. I thought I would check it out. The kid from Cobra Kai is the Blue Beetle. But it is very. Remember when I said it would probably been good like 10 or 12 years ago?
Yeah.
It's very. It's the basic trope. I'm gonna yell and scream. How did I become a superhero? So there's a bunch of that. You have the loud family with the funny relative, which is George Lopez. Evil person is making things and taking over and trying to make weapons, for war, but she's using it for her own gain, instead of for, good things. Fight scene where they put dents in big buildings, while they fly through the air. It's very tropey. Like I said, it's everything. It's every fight scene you've ever seen in a superhero movie before. Everything you've seen in a superhero movie before is Blue Beetle.
Okay. So I've seen the movie, but with a different character type of thing.
Yes, but they've left it open for a sequel.
Well, Blue Beetle is the first official movie in the new DC universe. So that's why they did it.
It's not terrible. It's not horrible. It's just used. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's nothing original.
When did we talk about? We talked about the other day where we all are thinking that the superhero genres needs to be dead, or at least a nice reset. I really do think Marvel and even DC to a point needs to take a good 5 to 10 years off.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, Star Wars, what they did, honestly. So so Empire came out in 1983, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was dead. Like, that was it. Until 1997, when it was the 20th anniversary of Star Wars. That's when Lucas went back and ruined it and made a special edition.
Is that when he took out all the guns and gave them radios?
No, that's E.T. But they released all 3 movies at the theater. So people went back to see Star Wars. You know what I mean? And it made like a bunch of money. But they weren't churning out movies like they do now, I don't think.
Well, I don't think
but I went to see all 3 of them.
Conveyor belt anymore.
Yeah, I went to see all 3 of them again at the theater because why not? It had been 20 years since I'd seen Star Wars at the theater, so, or less, probably 15, maybe 20, 18. So, I mean, dude, put Batman back out. You know what I mean? Let it die for 7 years, 8 years, 20 years.
Well,
and then 15
maybe
years,
not Batman, because that last Batman movie was pretty good. And I'm actually really excited for the next Batman.
I am too, because everybody was like, the Penguin was a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't like some cartoony guy with penguins that, with lasers shooting out of their freaking heads.
And that's what I like about Batman is his villains are more, other than like a few, they're more realistic.
Right. Yeah. But, we talked about that before. It was because he was a detective. He wasn't a superhero. And this was all, Blue Beetle is all superhero. Like, oh, I'm a superhero. I've got this suit. How do let me fly into the air and not know what I'm doing. Oh, let me crash to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you seen that?
Plenty of times. Probably every single superhero movie when they're learning to use their powers.
Yes.
I just think of Spider-Man on the roof trying to use his webs.
That's that's how old those tropes are. That goes clear back. That was in what, 2001? Was the first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Well, and I think some of my favorite superhero movies have been the ones where the superheroes already established, and you kind of just pick up where they left off. Technically, like the Batman movie, he was only in it for what, like 2-3 years.
Right. Well, I mean, even the original Batman, like the Michael Keaton Batman. You know what I mean? He was already Batman. So I don't know. What should we be watching other than, I think the superhero thing is dying out. I don't know what we need.
Bring back cowboy movies.
Oh God, we need some westerns. Wouldn't that be awesome? Let's do a movie about, like, let's reboot up a Jesse James movie again, which is the long
Why
run.
not a Clint Eastwood movie?
Because he's 97 years old. That's
well, I said reboot. I didn't say bring him back. I don't want to see him out there
gunslinging. You know who could be gunslinging in his instead of him is his son.
They try. I feel like they keep trying to make his son into an actor, but they can't. Like, he's not finding anything good.
He's a good actor, though, Scott.
He is.
He is.
None of his movies have really hit.
No, well, I mean, it took, dude. You know how long it took frickin' Eastwood to hit? He was in Rawhide for years. Then he went over to Europe and made those spaghetti westerns, which those didn't take off until, I bet you those things didn't take off until they started showing them on TV here in America. You know what I mean? Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, Hang 'em High, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I don't think he hit it. I mean, he hit it big with like Dirty Harry. But his first real good cowboy movie wasn't until Josie Wales, and that came out in '76. So, I mean, sometimes it takes a while for him to hit. Look at frickin' the guy from Yellowstone, right? Cole Hauser. He was in Dazed and Confused. That came out in 1992. Now he's popular. 30 years later, he's popular. And he was the bad guy in Too Fast, Too Furious.
I was about to say, he was Barone or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was the bad guy in Too Fast, Too Furious. So, I mean, he was in a Fast and the Furious movie, and it didn't do anything for his career.
Was he in Varsity Blues?
No.
No.
That's Scott Conn. That's James Conn's son.
Well, I don't think a lot of Fast and Furious movies have really helped people's careers.
Really?
Other than, like, what's the two main guys? Not
family.
Really.
It's all about family.
And I guess Gal Gadot, that's where she got her start.
Oh, didn't Eva Mendes too?
No, Eva Mendes had been in things before that.
Eva Mendes or whatever her name is. She's hot though. She was in the second one, right?
Yes.
Ludacris?
Luda was Luda before that.
I know Luda was Luda before. Still.
The Rock. If it wasn't for Fast and the Furious, The Rock would not have been The Rock.
Oh my gosh. Jason Statham.
I still find it hilarious that The Rock and why can't I think of his name?
Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel, yeah. Can't or hate each other so much they couldn't even shoot scenes together. That last movie they did together.
Because they're not family.
Yeah, they're not.
Do you think that's what he told The Rock? You're not part of my family.
Yes, I bet he did.
Okay, Vin, I need you in this scene with The Rock. No, he's not family. Sorry. But I don't know. I don't know what to see at the theater. I know I am going to see Ferrari, though. I am going to go see Aquaman, though. Aquaman comes out the 21st, and Ferrari comes out on Christmas Day.
I forgot that, what's his name? Kylo Ren was Ferrari.
He's playing Ferrari. I'm really looking forward to that. That's just the story of Ferrari, so that could go either way. I don't think it's a racing movie as much as it is a biography.
I think you got to go into it thinking like Napoleon.
Yeah, I got to go in thinking of it as a biography, not as a racing movie. Because dude, he was like so broke. He was gonna sell Ferrari to Ford. That's how bad it got.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like said, no. Now look at him.
I know he sues people for customizing the car they own.
Well, why would
I
you
should-
want to touch perfection, dude?
Because nothing's ever perfect. There's always better.
But because then you end up like those stupid ass people that have a cool Corvette that just leave the Corvette as it is. No, they put a big dumb spoiler on the back, and they painted a stupid ass color.
Yeah, but then you get the guys who own a nice Corvette and only have 100 miles on it because it never leaves their garage. You buy a car to own the car, to drive the car. You don't buy the car to, unless it's a historical piece. You don't buy it to sit it in a
I agree
garage.
with that. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I just hate when people put
I'm sorry, but
aftermarket.
them suing like Dead Mouse for putting a wrap on his Ferrari is
Don't
stupid.
put a wrap on a Ferrari.
It looked better with
There's no way it looked better. No.
It did. Did you ever look at it? Did you see the pictures? It looks dope as fuck.
I doubt it. I don't think so. Dead Mouse.
He named it he wrapped it with a Nyan Cat meme.
Oh my god. What the heck? Dude.
It's hilarious.
That's awful.
I do agree with them
I would have sued him too.
Who's the boxer? I can't think of the boxer. Mayweather. Mayweather's not allowed to buy Ferraris brand new anymore because he got like a hyper rare one. Like they only built 100 of them, and he sold it like a month later. And you're supposed to own those for like 3 years.
Oh, really?
You like sign a contract. Yeah, part of the deal for you to get one of their like exclusive cars is you got to own it for a few years. And he like turned around and sold it.
Dude, this is the dumbest freaking thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's hilarious.
It's awful.
And
do that to a Corvette. Don't
you
know
what?
To a
you know what Lambo did? Lambo gave him a free Lamborghini and wrapped it for him.
Well, good for Lamborghini. They're hurting for people. Don't do this. This is awful.
I think Lamborghini makes better cars, anyways. Lamborghini's got some sleek-looking cars.
They do, yeah. But then you got McLaren. Why is it? How come this? I got a question for you, Chris, because I thought about this in the past and it just brought me up. So you have these little pissant countries like Italy, right? Germany, England, making these freaking awesome hypercars. So you got like McLaren. That's Lamborghini. I mean, Italy alone has Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Maserati.
And
right?
Pessaneg, or however you say it.
Right. Okay.
Pisani or whatever.
Germany has Mercedes, obviously, right?
Yep.
Plus they have Audi, right?
Porsche,
right? These little ass countries make the most expensive but awesome looking automobiles in the world. Come to America, what do you get? We get a Corvette.
Hey, those the new C8 Corvettes are pretty awesome. I really like the
C8. I'm not.
Here's the thing.
Corvettes aren't awesome. I'm just saying, when is America going to produce a freaking awesome hypercar like the rest of the world?
We've tried. They just don't compete.
Exactly. Why not?
There's a few things. I think one, a lot of these, Italian, a lot of these companies have a lot of fanboys who only like, you only hear about them. Two, I think in America, you kind of just get trounced by the big dogs when you try to do something.
Because everybody wants an $80,000 pickup truck, not a $90,000 supercar. I would take
basically, yeah. No, but I'm saying like in these smaller companies like Ferrari, Lambo, McLaren. I love McLarens, by the way. McLaren's my favorite hypercar. But you get these companies that every car, I don't want to say is unique, but they don't. You don't have, not like in America where everything has to be off the assembly line. Like these cars are kind of like almost hand built. Yeah, like the parts are off the assembly line, but it's not like they have to get the car out in a month.
Because I noticed this so in sports car racing, you have Corvettes, and this is just, I've been to historic sports car races where they take these really old, expensive race cars and race against each other, right? So you have older Corvettes, you have Camaros, you have Mustangs, right? And when you see them on the racetrack, and you see the way they kind of lumber through the corners, you know what I mean? There's a lot of lean to them. And then you put that up against, say, a Porsche or a Ferrari, where it's built to race. Even if though it's a street car, I feel like the American was, for a while there, it was all about horsepower and muscle. It wasn't about handling and precision along with speed. And I think that's the difference was Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, they're all about speed with performance, overall performance.
If you look at it, like Corvette owns its division in a lot of the racing brackets. Like the C8 Corvette and even the C7 dominates their division.
Oh, dude, I love the Corvette. I love those cars.
But when you look at it, like American companies can put out some great hypercars. You got like the Ford GTs, the Vipers.
Dude, those Ford GTs were freaking awesome.
Shelby, when Shelby was on top of their game, put out a ton of cars.
Well, those were back in the 60s.
I know, but I think
so you know what? So you just brought up the Ford GTs, right? Mm-hmm. So the old ones were the GT40s, right?
Yeah.
They were called GT40s because they were sat 40 inches off the ground. The roof did. The new GTs were 44 inches. That's why they were just GTs. They weren't Ford GT. They weren't GT40s.
Huh.
So there you go. Learn something new every day, huh?
The Saleen. I always forget Saleen was an
American Steve Saleen, the Saleen Mustang.
Yeah, I always forget about his cars. I mean, there's not many of them, but
do you know he tried to race in the Indy 500?
No, I didn't.
In 1988, Steve Saleen did. Yeah, he kept on plastering the wall. I think he put two in the wall himself and got out of the car. They put Johnny Parsons in. It was an 88 March. Sponsored by Montgomery Ward. They were black and white and yellow cars. They were neat cars, but he put two in the wall, and then Johnny Parsons put a third one in the wall. So that was his only trek into cars. It was an expensive month of May for Steve Saleen.
I don't think car manufacturing just doesn't have the hypercar history like it does here. Like, yeah, we get, like you said, it's all here is the companies. It's all about speed and horsepower, not performance.
Right. Overall performance. Right. I agree. I think that's,
and I'm a firm believer that if GM or Ford or Dodge or Chrysler ever decide to put their heads to it and actually do it, I bet they could get a car with the best of them.
I mean, the Dodge did. It tried with the Viper.
The Viper.
Yeah.
No, I like a good Viper. The Vipers are pretty good, neat cars.
Awesome. Yeah.
Do you think electric cars will make it to like races?
They already kind of do. A lot of I think is it F1? I forget where it does it, but like the car is actually electric for the first like a gear or two, and then it kicks in the petrol engine.
Yeah, they use a hybrid. Well, that was the concern with the IndyCars. Yeah, F1 uses hybrid, and they use hybrid technology. But see, it's called the KERS, which is Kinetic Energy Recovery System.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It builds back up, like in the corners. That energy builds itself back up, and then they can expel it on the straightaways.
What?
But so they're talking about a KERS, like a form of a KERS system in the IndyCars, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a hybrid system. But the big question is, how do you recover energy on a super speedway?
There's not that many turns.
There's only 4 corners. So, I mean, so that's a big question. The jury's still out on. I heard the car was kind of a pig, is what I understood.
I think the
IndyCar hybrid.
One thing for like electric vehicles is I don't think they could do it, just because one, electric cars would be very heavy. 2, how would you yeah, they could go so many miles, but how would they fuel them? Like drop a new battery in?
Well, the Formula E, the first year of Formula E, which is electronic cars, which are just basically, it's like watching golf cart racing. There's no sound. It's just wee. I always call it. My nephew watches it. He loves it. I'm like, I do not. If I want to watch golf cart race, I'll go to the golf course. They would, because the length of the batteries when they first started building them didn't last long enough for the race. They would pit and switch cars, which is an interesting concept. But like, I just couldn't get into it. I can't get it. I've got to have sound is what drove me to keep going back to the speedway, not just
I mean,
a pretty race car.
That's one thing for me. It's like I couldn't get in with the like if I'm gonna watch a race, I want to hear the V8s.
Well, that was so like IndyCar for years, forever. There were all kinds of different motors, especially at Indianapolis. Like you had a Buick V6, you had a V8, you had a normally aspirated V8, and you had all these motors. They all had different tones to them, even between manufacturers. A Chevy sounded different than a Ford. So now, because it's the same motor, basically, they both sound the same, Ford or Chevy and Honda. But you go to an IMSA race, like I went to the IMSA race in Indianapolis, right? So you've got Cadillac, you've got Porsche, you've got BMW, and they all sound different. And there's so many different. I mean, just the tone of the engines. Like I went and I was like, oh my god, this is what I've been missing at the racetrack is different engine tones, because the Cadillac is freaking loud. It is a loud, blaring motor. The BMW's got a nice tune. Of course, the Porsche is just that Porsche sound. But I think if that plays a lot into racing sound, that's why I don't think Formula E will ever be like part of the big three, which is NASCAR, Formula One, and IndyCar. Because I think people go to that to be seen, almost like Formula One's getting. You go to that race to be seen, like you care.
Yeah.
But you're not really there for the racing. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's a good, interesting topic. I've been watching old Indy 500s because I can on YouTube. But
Mikey, how's the new Hard Knocks?
It was okay. I only watched one episode. I think there's another episode out. It comes out on Tuesdays. I didn't pay too much attention to it because I don't really care too much about the Dolphins. But it was like football, and I was like, I'll watch it.
They don't make you care about them like the Jets made you care about the Jets and the Hard Knocks.
No, I didn't really watch the Cardinals one either.
I don't watch the in-season ones like I
think
did.
I think the in-season one's a lot different than the preseason one.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be better if they started at the beginning of the season, like you follow them maybe like throughout the season. But I know that's a lot for the film crew to do, and it's a lot of money and whatnot. So that's probably why they only start halfway through the season. But I guess from what I caught in this first episode, it kind of just went into Mike McDaniel's, his personality and the way he coaches and stuff, and
he seems like a character. Like
yeah.
I really would like to. Like he's somebody that I would work for.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like I was listening to who was on it? Pat McAfee's show. Someone was talking about Tua. No, it was Kirk Herbstreit. Yeah, he was talking about Tua because they had the Black Friday game, which Miami was on. And
the Black Friday game.
Yeah.
With the Hail Mary pick six.
Was that? No, that wasn't Miami. Okay. Anyway, Kirk Herbstreit was talking.
Wasn't it? They played the Jets, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. Anyway, So Kirk Herbstreit was talking about it because he did the pregame interview about Tua, and it makes sense the way, like, I'll circle back around to like Mike Daniels here, but um, he was saying Tua's a much different person and quarterback now than he was when he first started in the league, I guess. Just because, like, even back in high school and college, because uh, in his culture, this is what Kirk was saying. Like in his culture, Polynesian or whatnot, he kind of listen. You have to listen to your elder, like your dad and stuff, and kind of follow his rules and other people like that. Um, so in high school, he was doing well or something. He wanted to go to USC, but his dad's like, okay, you're good enough, and you can play college, but you're going to Alabama. So he's like, okay, I'll go to Alabama. Like he had to listen to his dad, and then Nick Saban kind of became that father figure and stuff, and he kind of just followed him. And then when he got into the league, of course, he did. He eventually started to play with Mike McDaniels, and Mike McDaniels, as in the doc or in the Hard Knocks, they kind of went over how he lets players express themselves and be themselves and stuff and be their own person. And that's kind of what he did to Tua. He's like, you're an adult, you can make your own decisions, like in that way. And so Tua grew as a person and as a quarterback under Mike McDaniels, which kind of exponentialized his ability as a football player and made him even more better or something. I don't know. So that's just kind of like what I got from Hard Knocks. At least this first episode.
Makes sense. Are you gonna keep watching it? Because my big problem with Hard Knocks is I'll watch like I'll watch like an episode or two, then I just like lose interest.
You know, I didn't even finish the Jets one. I was one episode away from.
Oh, the Jets one's a good one.
I didn't watch the last episode.
Really?
But if I remember, if I have time, if I'm not really doing anything, then yeah, maybe. So like I said I might have time. I don't know if I will or not. I'm going to Florida next weekend to see my parents, so we'll see if I have time.
Are you driving or flying?
We're driving.
How long are you gonna be gone?
A week.
That'll be fun.
So I need someone to watch the dogs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get that lined up with my nephew.
Well, I was gonna say if I was in Kokomo, I would, but
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah.
Did you hear the news out of Indianapolis?
Somebody get shot?
Oh no, Taylor's out for 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, he's getting like finger surgery or something.
Yeah.
And he was just like back on full, like I thought he was just coming back into,
yeah,
how
he
should be.
Majority of snaps and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's out 3 weeks. And then of course, former Colt coach.
Oh yeah, Frank Reich got fired.
Is walking paper.
Dude, I think he was a scapegoat.
So they're going to get the number 1 draft, right? But they're not going to get the number 1 draft because they're so shitty. They're the worst team in the league. So because they traded their number 1 draft to the Bears.
Oh yeah. Well, the Bears didn't do much with it either.
No, the Bears will get the number 1 draft this year.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Because they should. Panthers are 1-10. I mean, the Patriots are 2-9, but I guess they could still get it. But right now,
I'm not even worried about the Patriots getting a good draft pick because Belichick has never shown that he can draft.
Cardinals are 2-10, so there's running, But dude, like they gave up so much for what the pick that White Bryce Young or whatever.
Yeah.
Stroud.
Dude,
I thought it was Stroud.
no, that's
No,
C.J.
that's-
Stroud. He's in Houston.
Sorry, I can't keep track of everybody sometimes.
He's doing pretty good, considering. But dude, yeah, I don't even think Reich wanted him, honestly, from what I understand.
That's what I remember somebody on ESPN talking about that one time. That was kind of the owner kind of pulled a Jerry Rice and just picked him himself.
What they've had
Not
between
Jerry
them
Rice,
and
Cowboys.
There's another team in Carolina. Between them and the Panthers, they've had 4 coaches in 2 years. Between 2 organizations. So,
Mm.
and
I
right
think
now,
the Colts have a good guy though. Have a good coach now.
I like him as a coach. Yeah, and Minshew does some silly things, but he's playing pretty decent actually.
Mm-hmm. Minshew's never going to win you the Super Bowl, but he'll.
But he's the guy that can come off the bench and finish a game for you.
Yes, he's the backup you want.
Yes, it's exactly right. He is the backup you want. He's that good. He's good enough to be that backup.
Yes.
I think he's better than Brissett ever was, honestly.
I think they're not really comparable.
Why? They were both backups.
But they're 2 different quarterbacks. Brissett,
right? Yeah, Brissett
never made the stupid mistakes. Like, I don't want to say stupid mistakes, but he never did the silly stuff like Minshew. But he never pushed the ball downfield. That was his big issue. While Minshew, yeah, he'll push the ball downfield with the swagger, but he makes some silly mistakes and can give the game away.
Well, Brissett did that plenty of times himself.
And not as much, but he gave the game away by not, by dumping it off to the underneath instead of, to the guy downfield where, it's a 50-50 ball.
Right.
He was at Canada in a QB.
right? Plus, the freaking, Buffalo, didn't they have 500 yards offense and still lost?
Yeah, I think something like that.
That was a good game. That was the only good game on Sunday, actually, was the Eagles and the Bills. I watched the end of that game. College football, though. Dude, this past weekend of college football was freaking insane.
That's what I hear.
It was between, you had Michigan State and Ohio State. Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan didn't even have its head coach.
Who won that game, by the way?
Michigan. They weren't even supposed to win.
Well, you know how it goes when somebody gets suspended or fired. The team usually plays better for a game or two.
Yeah, dude, that game was good. Did you see the way the Iron Bowl ended?
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious!
Holy crap!
Auburn thought they were going to have another miracle,
right? And then how do you leave that guy wide open in the end zone? Why is there not somebody on him?
Because college.
Dude, college football is better than the NFL.
I think so too. I'd much rather watch college than pro.
Florida got beat by Florida. Florida looked good for the first 3 quarters of the game.
Gotta look good all 4.
State. Yep. Yeah, I think college football is by far the better product. There's just not a lot of good in it. Dude, and the penalties are getting horrible. The roughing the passer plays, just let them play.
I heard a lot of people are starting to say things are I watch stuff on YouTube or on X, and it's people are saying things are rigged, and I see it, and I'm like, it looks rigged almost sometimes.
It does. I agree.
And I don't want to say it's rigged, but when you see some of these calls, it's come on now.
But there is a lot of bad football being played in the NFL this year.
There's a lot of bad football and there's a lot of bad reffing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but this whole roughing freaking what's his name in Buffalo, where he takes a dive. He's like the LeBron of the NFL. And he gets a whistle every single time. Just lay him out. have him shaking on the ground like Roger Staubach was. He got hit so hard, his hands were up in the air and they were shaking, and
Oh my god, goes limp.
that was a rough one. He's still around. He ain't loopy yet. Him and Terry Bradshaw. I don't know. There's a lot of shitty football being played in the NFL though this year. It seems like there's a big gap between the really good and the horrible.
It's like what Tom Brady said. There's just not a lot of talent.
But is that because the rules are making the show that bad?
No.
Some of the rules.
It's hard to tackle. You can't tackle.
Well, and now they're getting rid of the hip drop, so people can't tackle people from behind.
Yeah. How do you tackle then?
How do you expect these 6'2" corners or safeties to tackle a 7-foot tight end?
You can't go across the middle anymore and just level a guy out because then you're leading with your helmet.
You can't go high. You can't go low. You hit too hard in the middle, you get flagged. I'm all for making the game safe, but at the same time, I don't want to watch an NBA game.
I mean, that's what it's turned. It's gonna be like playing Madden on the Xbox.
It's who gets the ball last or whose defense steps up for one play.
Like whenever you play Madden, do you really like? Is your main focus the defense? No, it's about putting up, 1,500 yards in passing and
when I played
8
Madden,
touchdowns and.
So I used to do every year. I'd buy Madden and do a league with my friends. For the season, like we'd actually go 20 years into the game, and I had to get good at defense because I could put up I could pass for 700 yards a game, but I needed to be able to stop people.
I was never good at defense.
Madden, you really need to be good at defense in Madden to play competitively against other people.
So, I don't know. I just this season, NFL season's been a little disappointing.
Pretty soon, the quarterback's going to have 2 flags on them.
I think so too.
Well, flag football is coming to the Olympics in in LA when it's in LA. I can't wait for the LA Olympics. I really want to try to go.
Sparkly.
No, but Tyreek Hill is trying to get a team together because
that's what they did to the. Well, they even look what they did to the Pro Bowl.
I like the new Pro Bowl stuff though.
Oh my God, a bunch of they used to send them to Hawaii for the week, and you really got a vacation out of it. And the Pro Bowl was a big deal. Now, I mean, who the hell wants to go to Orlando in January?
Well, I thought it kind of got switched between different cities because wasn't it it was in Arizona one year.
But now they play flag football. They what happened? One of the downfall was there was a player, and I don't remember who it was. They were playing football on the beach during the Pro Bowl weekend, and he tore his ACL, and I think that was the downfall.
Well, I wish they did it 1 or 2 years where they would have a Hall of Famer come back. 2 Hall of Famers would be the honorary coaches, and they'd pick a team. And it wasn't AFC versus NFC. It would be Ray. It'd be Manning versus Brady.
No, that you're thinking of the basketball All-Star game.
No, they did this for 1 or 2 years because I remember Andrew Luck was the very first pick.
Oh, it used to be. That's right.
Luck.
Instead of it being AFC, NFC.
Yeah, it was 1 or 2 years. That's all they did it. But it was I can't think of his name. It was Irving versus I can't think of the other guy, but I just remember they picked Andrew Luck first. I think it was his rookie year.
Usually the guy who lost the championship game was the coach. So if your team lost the AFC championship, like when the Colts lost the AFC Championship game to say the Patriots. Dungy was the coach of the All-Star team of the.
Well, I remember when the All-Star in the Pro Bowl was after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was the week after the Super Bowl in Hawaii.
Yep. But that stadium in Hawaii is a piece of shit, and that's why they quit going
think
there.
they're tearing it down anyway, and they're making
no, the NFL said they wouldn't come back unless they built a new stadium. So they
finally did, but it only holds like 20,000 people or something.
Well, yeah, they don't need it's Hawaii. They don't need a stadium like in New York.
Well, they used to, dude. They say New York is like the worst stadium in the NFL. So
I would say
that's a bad analogy.
You know what I mean, though. They don't need like a 100,000 people stadium.
Well, I think it's the whole people have more options. They don't flock to the games like they used to. Plus, tickets aren't $10.50 anymore. They're, $775 to.
I know if you want to go get a nosebleed seat, it's still $70.
So, I don't know if I lived in Florida still. I might go down and watch some of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
Citrus Bowl. I think it would be fun. I only went to football. I went to 2 football games there. UCF used to play there before they had their own stadium, and so I saw UCF and Purdue. I saw Drew Brees play.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Didn't you see somebody before they were big?
Yeah, Drew Brees. Oh, I saw a lot of people. I saw Javon Curse, Terrell Davis when he played for Georgia. Saw Peyton Manning twice when he played for Tennessee. So I saw a lot of people. Yeah, but we saw Drew Brees, and then when they had the XFL, we went to the very first XFL game with the Orlando Rage. That was fun. And then other than that, I went to WrestleMania. And I saw the Eagles there. And I went to WrestleMania there. So
nice.
But yeah, that's about it. So, well, but yeah, we do need to bring up Christmas movies coming up if we need to have the Die Hard argument.
We can do that next week.
Sure.
When it's officially December.
Yeah, it's got to be officially.
Let's ask Mikey. Do you want to be here for the Die Hard debate again?
He ain't here.
Oh, he left.
He disappeared. I've been watching like the fringe Christmas movies, like the unimportant ones.
Oh, we've already gone through a lot of the big ones. We just watched Santa Claus, the first one today.
Yeah, I watched that last week. The other day.
Watched Elf, Polar Express, The Grinch already.
I watched the Grinch, like the cartoon, the old one from the 60s.
I don't like that one. I like the new live action one with
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. They can never recast that movie because he is such a character.
I watched 8-Bit Christmas, and then I watched, of course, the Santa Claus and Home Alone, and but I have not watched. I haven't done Elf or Christmas Vacation.
I need to watch Christmas Vacation.
I've got I need to watch Elf, the Elf Christmas Vacation. I might watch White Christmas, because that's a classic. Let's see here, and then I've got to watch Die Hard and Violent Night. Hold on, I want to see what other ones are playing on.
There's one on Netflix I highly suggest. It is Christmas Chronicles on Netflix. It's got Kurt Russell in it. It's really funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I highly suggest it. If you want a musical, Jingle Jangle is really good.
I can jingle my jangle. Family Stone.
And then there's another one. Too. Another one I suggest is a boy called Christmas. It's really good too.
What about Family Stone? You ever watch Family Stone?
No.
You've never seen the Family Stone?
No.
It is so good.
Do they get stoned?
No, well, sorta. It's got Owen Wilson. It's got a lot of people in it. Owen Wilson, Dermot Mulroney, Craig T. Nelson, Diane Keaton, Rachel McAdams is in it. That is a great movie. You've got to watch it. I highly recommend The Family Stone. Sarah Jessica Parker's in it. It's a really good movie. Like I said, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
I don't know which thing it's on. Let me see here. I just saw it on something. The Family. No. Family Stone. I just like it because Rachel McAdams is in. She's hot.
Okay. Well, we can talk more about these Christmas movies next week.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. Well, we can talk about them next week. We got to hint at them for next week because they
Claire Danes is in it too.
They can catch us at Pod Nerds on Twitter.
Oh no, it's Luke Wilson, not Owen Wilson. My bad.
Hoosier Nerds on Facebook. You can watch and listen to us at Hoosier Nerds on YouTube and your favorite podcasting sites.
And it's got
iTunes,
Gus Bucktinica too.
TuneIn, Amazon, and Spotify.
Randall Montgomery's in it.
And if you don't know, you'll know who's in this movie next week because Chris will slowly keep naming everybody off that's ever worked on this movie.
Savannah Stellan.
Rhythm.